19 million eggs, a lettuce outbreak that has now touched 47 states. In just the last few weeks, our food system has hit a breaking point, and your comments on my last few videos told me exactly where you're stuck. You are done waiting for official answers, so today we are going beyond the headlines to answer the two questions I am seeing over and over. Is any egg actually safe right now, and can you really cook the risk away when it comes to lettuce? Let's get into it. Here is the recap in plain terms. Midwest Poultry Services, operating out of 2 farms in Texas, recalled more than 19 million eggs after the company's own environmental monitoring flagged Salmonella enteritidis on site. The eggs went out under some of the most recognizable names in the grocery store: Kroger, Brookshire's, Simple Truth, and Country Morning. And as of the most recent count, 98 people across 17 states have gotten sick. Here is the number that should actually stop you. 19 million eggs from 2 farms. Not 19 different farms, not a regional supplier. 2 locations, 1 company, 1 contamination event, reaching store shelves in 6 states and food service accounts in 3 more. That is what a centralized food system actually looks like in practice. When something goes wrong at that scale of production, it doesn't stay small. It reaches millions of cartons before anyone even knows to look for a problem. There is also a detail buried in the FDA's own data that most coverage skipped past. The recalled eggs were produced between June 6th and July 3rd, but the illnesses tied to this outbreak stretch back as far as November 21st of last year, 7 months before a single one of the recalled eggs was even packed. That gap suggests the contamination on this farm was likely not a one-time event, but an ongoing issue that existed for months before enough cases accumulated for investigators to trace it back to the source. So here is what actually matters for your kitchen right now. You may have heard of the float test, dropping an egg in water to see if it sinks or floats. That test tells you how old an egg is because the air pocket inside grows larger over time as moisture evaporates through the shell. It tells you nothing about Salmonella. A contaminated egg fresh out of the carton will sink exactly like a clean one. The check that actually matters here is printed directly on your carton. Look for a plant code that reads P1950 or 0840962, along with a Julian date, a 3-digit number representing the day of the year the eggs were packed, falling between 157 and 184. If your carton has a best buy date between July 20th and August 17th of this year and matches those codes, do not eat those eggs. Return them for a refund. Now to the outbreak that has been the center of this channel all summer. Cyclospora, tied back to contaminated lettuce, has now been reported in at least 47 states this year, with 15 states specifically linked to iceberg lettuce. In the comments, I keep seeing the same workaround suggested: just cook it, throw it in a stir fry, or wash it with vinegar, and the problem solves itself. Let's actually look at the science instead of the assumption. Pathogens like E. coli and cyclospora are not always sitting neatly on the surface where a rinse or a splash of vinegar can reach them. Research on leafy greens has shown that pathogens can be internalized, meaning they get pulled inside the leaf tissue itself through cut edges, through the plant's own root system if contaminated water was used for irrigation, or even through natural pores on the leaf surface called stomata. Once a pathogen is inside the plant tissue rather than sitting on top of it, no amount of surface washing can fully reach it. Does cooking help? Heat applied thoroughly and evenly does kill these pathogens, but a fast, high-heat stir-fry with leaves piled on top of each other does not guarantee that every single leaf actually reaches a high enough temperature for long enough. Cooking is not a myth, but a 30-second toss in a hot pan is not the guaranteed fix people are hoping it is either. There is a meaningful difference between how hydroponically grown greens and open field greens are exposed to contamination in the first place. Hydroponic greens are grown indoors in controlled nutrient water, away from open field soil, agricultural runoff, and wildlife intrusion. That does not make them risk-free, but it means a documented lower exposure pathway. For bagged salads specifically, keep it refrigerated at a consistent cold temperature. Check the bag for damage or excess liquid before buying, and understand that triple washed reduces surface bacteria. It does not guarantee the absence of internalized pathogens. If you are tired of checking a recall list every single Monday morning before you decide what is safe to feed your family, you are not alone. Here is one path worth actually considering, and it is smaller and more achievable than it sounds. A simple windowsill salad garden using a basic hydroponic kit or even just soil-filled containers with good sunlight can grow lettuce, herbs, and leafy greens in your own kitchen, completely outside the supply chain that keeps failing this summer. Growing even a portion of what you eat is not about becoming fully self-sufficient overnight. It is about reducing how much of your family's safety depends on a supply chain you have no visibility into. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. Knowledge is genuinely the best defense you have against a food system that keeps having these moments. In the next video, I'm diving into the one label on your meat that is actually a total lie, and it is not what you think. Hit subscribe so you don't miss that investigation, and drop a like right now so this reaches someone else who is just as tired of checking recall lists as you are.